Clinton Avenue Memoirs is the 16th episode of the 5th season of The Golden Girls. This is directed by Terry Hughes, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. It's a beautiful episode. It's really emotional. It definitely isn't the funniest, but that's absolutely not a problem. There are two parts to the narrative, so I'll talk about them in turn. I don't have a tremendous amount of thoughts, particularly with Blanche. Blanche wants to get her hair done, but this particular hairdresser charges $300, and it's not within her budget for the month. But Rose has the budget at work to hire an assistant, so Blanche agrees to do the work, and she kind of doesn't really do the work. But eventually she does, and she learns that healthcare, particularly for elderly individuals, is very expensive, and it was a little bit eye-opening. I think they could have lent into that a little bit more, made the message a little bit stronger, but it was fine. It was nice padding for the main narrative. I feel like it also could have been a bit funnier, because the main narrative is really emotional. So it was good, it worked well, but I think it could have been a little bit better. The main narrative focuses on Sophia, and she's forgetting things. Every year on the anniversary, her anniversary with Sal, Dorothy takes her for dinner, and she'd forgotten this year. She'd forgotten all about it. So they go to the doctor, and the doctor says that her memory issues could be due to nutritional deficiencies, which, let's be honest, let's hope that's the case. But obviously, in the meantime, she still has these memory issues. So she decides that she's going to Brooklyn, and she decides Dorothy's going with her to go back to her old house to try and jog her memory, which I think is a really lovely thing to do. And they go there all the way from Miami without checking ahead. I feel like it would have been more sensible to write a letter and see if they're actually allowed in the place. But I guess there were other locations in Brooklyn that would have been familiar enough anyway. But they knock on the door. Somebody answers, thank goodness. And they explain the situation, and they get to go inside. And it's really emotional. One of the first things that Sophia does is start to stroke the wallpaper and have that physical contact with that house and with the memories within those walls. And I feel like it's something a lot of us would love to do, to visit a home from our childhood or from our past. And it must be very difficult to see other people living there, especially if, as we see with Sophia, there are a lot of happy memories there. But she doesn't seem too sad by it. She seems amazed that there are elements that she remembers, and that's really beautiful to see. And then it gets ridiculously emotional, because she's in one of the rooms and Sal appears and she talks with him, and that in itself was emotional enough. But at the end of their conversation, he disappears, and she reaches out to him as if to hold on to him before he goes again, and it broke me. I held it together until that point, and then I started to cry, and I basically cried for the rest of the episode. And it was just so beautiful and so moving, and I think really helping to raise awareness that people will have memory issues as they grow older. Maybe not everybody, maybe some people won't, but in general, it's very common. And I think one of the most important things is at the beginning of the episode, Dorothy said, "Let's go to the doctor." And I think it was very telling that Sophia didn't say no, that she basically agreed, because this is clearly something that's bothering her. And I think that was a really good start to the episode. See a medical professional as soon as possible, take the right steps, and if possible, try and jog those memories in a way that could be a really beautiful experience, and also a very emotional one. So quite a heavy episode, but there's a lot of value in it. I think it's very beautiful, very well executed, not the funniest, and I think the story with Blanche could have been a little bit better, but I didn't mind it. But the main narrative was obviously absolutely incredible, and I have no complaints. Every now and then, usually every couple of episodes, I'd say maybe every 4 or 5 episodes, maybe a bit longer than that, but every now and then there's a Golden Girls episode that maybe isn't the funniest, but it's so moving and so emotional, and they just do them so well, and I have absolutely no complaints. Clinton Avenue Memoirs is very emotional, but a really powerful episode of The Golden Girls, and ultimately, it's absolutely beautiful.